Imagine standing in the middle of a vast forest, holding a single flickering flame in your hands. That flame is your energy, your life force, the very essence that fuels your dreams, your purpose, your joy. It's fragile yet powerful, capable of lighting up the darkness or being snuffed out by a careless gust of wind. Now picture someone approaching, not to admire your flame, but to demand a piece of it. They don't ask politely, they expect it. They want your time, your attention, your emotional strength, and they take it without a second thought, leaving your flame weaker, dimmer, barely holding on. This is the silent theft happening every day in our lives, not of money or possessions, but of something far more precious, your peace, your clarity, your very sense of self. Welcome to ZENLIGHT 8, where we dive deep into the art of living with purpose, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and the fire of self-improvement. Today, we're starting a journey to reclaim your power, to protect what's sacred within you, and to build a life that radiates strength and meaning. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to share practical tools rooted in Stoic philosophy and real-world stories that you can apply right now to guard your energy and transform your life. Let's begin with the first truth. Your energy is sacred, and not everyone deserves access to it. In a world that demands your attention at every turn, endless notifications, urgent calls, people who lean on you without ever lifting you up, it's easy to feel like your flame is flickering, barely holding on. I've been there. A few years ago, I had a friend who called me every week, pouring out their problems like a tidal wave. They'd talk for hours, venting about their job, their relationships, their fears, and I'd listen, offer advice, try to be the good friend. But every call left me drained, like I'd given away a piece of myself. I'd hang up the phone and feel my own goals slipping further away, my own peace unraveling. It wasn't until I read Seneca's words, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere," that I realized I was giving my energy to someone who saw it as an entitlement, not a gift. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, knew that our time and energy are finite, precious resources. He warned us to be deliberate about where we direct them, because every moment we give away carelessly is a moment stolen from our own growth. Think about it. Every time you say yes to someone who demands your attention without reciprocity, you're saying no to yourself. You're saying no to the workout you promised yourself, the book you wanted to read, the dream you've been too tired to chase. Your energy isn't just a resource. It's the fuel for your purpose, the spark that keeps your soul alive. And yet, there are people in your life who will take it without hesitation, who will ask for your time, your empathy, your silence, all under the guise of friendship or love. They'll call at 2 a.m. with their crises, expect you to drop everything, to fix their problems, and leave you feeling like you're carrying the weight of their world while yours crumbles. I once knew a colleague who'd always ask for just a quick favor: proofreading a report, covering a shift, helping with a project. At first I thought I was being kind, but over time I noticed I was exhausted, my own work suffered, and they never once returned the favor. That's when I learned the hard truth. Kindness isn't self-sacrifice. True kindness is balanced, mutual, a dance of giving and receiving. The Stoics taught us that generosity isn't about giving everything to everyone. It's about giving wisely, to those who value it, to those who pour back into you. So how do you protect your sacred fire in a world full of demands? First, recognize the energy thieves in your life. They're not always obvious. They might be the friend who always needs you, but never asks how you're doing, the coworker who dumps their stress on you, or even a family member who guilts you into putting their needs first. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with them. Do you feel uplifted, inspired, or do you feel heavy, drained, like a part of you has been chipped away? That's your intuition speaking, and it's never wrong. Second, set boundaries, with wisdom, not anger. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Saying no isn't about being selfish, it's about honoring your purpose. Try this. The next time, Someone asks for more than you can give. Pause and ask yourself, will this leave me enough energy for my own goals? If the answer is no, practice saying, I can't take this on right now, but I'm rooting for you. It's firm, kind, and keeps your flame burning bright. Finally, surround yourself with people who fuel your fire, not extinguish it. Seek out those who inspire you, who challenge you to grow, who celebrate your wins as much as you celebrate theirs. I found this when I joined a local book club. At first, I was hesitant. I was already stretched thin. But those weekly discussions with people who shared my love for ideas recharged me in ways I didn't expect. They didn't just take, they gave. They listened, they shared, they lifted me up. That's the kind of balance you deserve. In today's world, where we're bombarded with demands, social media, work emails, endless to-do lists, guarding your energy is more crucial than ever. Imagine you have 100 units of energy each day. If you give 80 to others, what's left for you? Maybe 20, barely enough to keep going. Now imagine redirecting that energy, 50 to your goals, 30 to your loved ones, and 20 to yourself for rest and reflection. That's the Stoic way. Deliberate, intentional, powerful. Start small. This week, say no to one request that feels like a drain. Maybe it's skipping a call that always leaves you exhausted or setting a time limit on a conversation. Notice how it feels to reclaim that energy. Write it down, share it in the comments below, and let's inspire each other. Your energy is your sacred fire, and when you protect it, you don't just survive, you thrive. You have more to give to the people who matter, more to pour into the dreams that set your soul ablaze. So guard it fiercely because it's not just your energy, it's your life. As we move forward, let's talk about something equally vital, your principles, the unshakable foundation that keeps you steady in a world that tries to pull you in every direction. Picture yourself as a lighthouse, standing tall against the crashing waves of a stormy sea. The winds howl, the tides pull, but you remain unmoved. Your light cutting through the darkness, guiding you and others to safety. That light is your principles, the core beliefs that define who you are, the moral compass that keeps you grounded when the world feels like chaos. But here's the hard truth. There will always be people who try to dim that light, who ask you to bend, to compromise, to trade your values for their convenience. They'll come with smiles, with promises, with words that sound like care but feel like control. And in those moments, you'll face a choice. Hold fast to your principles or let them slip, just a little, to avoid conflict or gain approval. On ZENLIGHT 8, we're here to remind you that your principles are not negotiable. They're the bedrock of your character, and compromising them is like chipping away at the foundation of your soul. Stay with me, because we're going to dig deep into why standing firm is the ultimate act of strength. And I'll share practical ways to protect your values in a world that constantly tests them. A few years ago, I faced a moment that shook me to my core. I was working at a job where a senior colleague asked me to fudge some numbers on a report. It's not a big deal, they said. Everyone does it. It was tempting. Saying yes would have made me look like a team player, maybe even earned me a promotion. But deep down, I knew it wasn't right. It clashed with my belief in honesty, a principle I'd built my life on. I thought about Marcus Aurelius, who said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Those words echoed in my mind, giving me the courage to say no, even though it cost me favor with my boss. That moment wasn't just about a report. It was about who I was and who I wanted to be. Your principles are like the roots of a tree, anchoring you through life's storms. They're not just rules, they're the essence of your identity. Maybe for you, it's honesty, like it was for me. Maybe it's loyalty, compassion, or fairness. Whatever they are, they're what make you you. But here's the thing. Not everyone will respect them. Some people will see your principles as obstacles, barriers to their own agendas. They'll ask you to bend, to make exceptions, to just go along for the sake of peace or progress. They'll wrap their requests in flattery or guilt, saying things like, "I thought you'd understand," or "It's just this once." but every time you compromise, you give away a piece of yourself. It's not just one moment, it's a crack that widens with every concession until you're left wondering who you've become. I remember a friend who was always asked by her family to put their needs above her own. They'd guilt her into skipping her art classes to help with errands, saying, "Family comes first." She loved her family, but each time she gave in, she felt a little less like herself. Her dreams of becoming an artist faded, replaced by resentment and exhaustion. That's the danger of compromising your principles. It's not just about the moment, it's about the slow erosion of your self-respect. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus taught that we should focus only on what's within our control, our actions, our choices, our principles, and let go of what others think. When you stand firm, you're not just preserving your values, you're building a life of integrity, one choice at a time. So how do you hold fast in a world that pressures you to bend? First, know your principles. Take a moment today to write down 3 values that define you. Maybe it's truth, kindness, or courage. Keep them close, like a map you can turn to when the path gets blurry. Second, practice saying no with clarity and calm. You don't need to be harsh or defensive. Try this. "I hear you, but that doesn't align with what I believe is right." It's simple, direct, and powerful. Third, surround yourself with people who respect your principles, who see your steadfastness as a strength, not a burden. I found this when I joined a community group focused on personal growth. They didn't just tolerate my values, they celebrated them, pushing me to stay true to myself, even when it was hard. In today's fast-paced world, where social media and workplace pressures can make you feel like you have to conform to fit in, standing by your principles is a radical act of self-love. Imagine you're at a crossroads every day, with one path leading to approval but away from your truth, and the other leading to integrity, even if it's lonely at times. Choose the second path. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Start small. The next time someone asks you to do something that feels wrong, pause and ask, "Does this align with who I am?" If it doesn't, say no and feel the strength that comes from honoring yourself. Share your story in the comments. What's one principle you refuse to compromise, and how do you stay true to it? Let's inspire each other to stand tall. As we move forward, let's explore another silent danger: the manipulators who weave their way into your life, using your kindness as a tool for their own ends. There's a quiet predator in the world of relationships, one that doesn't announce itself with red flags or loud warnings. It moves softly, cloaked in charm, disguised as a friend, a partner, or even a mentor. These are the manipulators, the ones who don't just take your time or energy. They take pieces of your soul, twisting your kindness into obligation, your empathy into a leash. On ZENLIGHT 8, we're peeling back the layers of these subtle dangers, using the lens of Stoicism to see clearly and the fire of self-improvement to reclaim our power. Stay with me, because we're going to uncover how to spot these manipulators. Protect yourself and build relationships that lift you up instead of pulling you down. I learned this lesson the hard way. A few years back, I had a friend who seemed like they needed me. They'd call me late at night, sharing their struggles, their fears, their endless dramas. I'd listen, offer advice, sometimes even drop my own plans to help them through. They'd thank me profusely, saying, "I don't know what I'd do without you." But over time, I noticed a pattern. They never asked about my life, my struggles, my dreams. Every conversation was about them, their needs, their crises. I started feeling like a sponge, soaking up their problems until I was wrung out, empty. It wasn't until I read Epictetus, who said, "We have to be on guard against those who seek to use us," that I realized I wasn't being a good friend. I was being manipulated. Manipulators are masters of disguise. They don't come with obvious demands. They come with stories, with flattery, with guilt trips so subtle you barely notice. They study you, learning your fears, your desires, the soft spots in your heart. Maybe they know you hate letting people down, so they play the victim, making you feel like you're their only hope. Or maybe they know you value loyalty, so they frame their requests as tests of your devotion. Whatever their tactic, the result is the same. You give, they take, and the scales never balance. I once worked with a manager who was a pro at this. She'd ask me to stay late just this once to finish a project, framing it as a chance to prove myself. But just this once became every week, and when I tried to set boundaries, she'd sigh and say, "I thought you were someone I could count on." That guilt stung, but it was a trap. She wasn't counting on me. She was using me to make her life easier. The Stoics teach us that our greatest power lies in controlling our own responses. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." When you feel that tug of guilt or obligation, pause. That's your intuition telling you something's off. Manipulation thrives in silence, in the moments you don't question. So how do you break free? First, trust your gut. After spending time with someone, ask yourself, do I feel lighter or heavier? Do I feel seen or used? If you're drained, that's a sign. Second, set clear boundaries. Practice phrases like, "I care about you, but I can't take this on right now." It's not about being cold, it's about being honest. Third, seek balance in your relationships. True connection is a two-way street where both people give and receive. I found this when I reconnected with an old friend who'd always ask, "How's your heart?" before sharing her own struggles. Those conversations left me full, not empty. In today's world, manipulation is everywhere. Think of the influencer who guilts you into buying their product, the coworker who plays on your empathy to offload their work, or even the family member who uses love as leverage. Protecting yourself starts with awareness. Try this. Keep a journal for a week. Note every interaction that leaves you feeling off, and look for patterns. Are there people who consistently take without giving? Then, take one small step to set a boundary. Maybe limit calls to 20 minutes, or say no to a request that feels unfair. Share your experience in the comments. What's one boundary you've set to protect yourself from manipulation? Let's learn from each other. As we continue, let's turn to another sacred part of you. Your dreams, those bold visions that others might try to dim with their doubts. Deep within you burns a vision, a dream so vivid it feels like it's already real. Maybe it's starting your own business, writing a book, or running a marathon. It's the spark that gets you up in the morning, the whisper that says, you were meant for more. But here's the reality. Not everyone will see that spark. Some will try to dim it, not with malice, but with their own fears dressed up as wisdom. They'll tell you to be practical, to play it safe, to shrink your dreams to fit their comfort zone. On ZENLIGHT, we're here to fan that flame, to remind you that your dreams are worth fighting for, and to give you the tools to protect them. Stay with me, because we're going to explore how to shield your vision from the doubters and turn your dreams into reality, one bold step at a time. I'll never forget the day I told a mentor about my dream to start a podcast. I was buzzing with excitement, imagining a platform where I could share Stoic wisdom and inspire others. But their response was a cold splash of water. Podcasting is oversaturated. You should stick to something more stable. Their words stung, echoing my own doubts. For a moment, I wondered if they were right. But then I thought of Seneca, who said, "There is no easy way from the earth to the stars." Dreams aren't meant to be easy. They're meant to stretch you, to pull you toward a version of yourself you haven't met yet. The people who doubt your dreams aren't always trying to hurt you. Often they're projecting their own fears, their own regrets. They see your courage, and it reminds them of what they didn't pursue. I had a friend who dreamed of moving to New York to become a chef. Her family told her it was too risky, that she'd never make it in such a competitive city. They meant well, but their doubts weighed on her, making her question her own path. It wasn't until she found a mentor who believed in her, a chef, who saw her talent and pushed her to take the leap, that she found the courage to move. Today, she's thriving, running her own kitchen. That's the power of surrounding yourself with people who fuel your dreams, not dampen them. Your dreams are sacred, but they're also fragile. Every time you let someone's skepticism creep in, It's like letting a cloud block the sun. The Stoics remind us to focus on what we control: our actions, our mindset, our effort. You can't control what others say, but you can control how you respond. So how do you protect your dreams? First, own them unapologetically. Write down your biggest dream today and say it out loud. Claim it. Second, seek out believers, people who see your potential and push you forward. I found this in a mastermind group where every week we shared our goals and held each other accountable. Those conversations lit a fire under me, reminding me why I started. Third, take small, consistent steps. Dreams don't come true overnight, but every action counts. If your dream is to write a book, commit to 500 words a day. If it's running a marathon, start with a mile. In today's world, where social media bombards us with comparisons and naysayers lurk in every comment section, protecting your dreams is an act of defiance. Imagine your dream as a seed. Every step you take, every page you write, every mile you run, is water and sunlight. The doubters are weeds trying to choke your growth. Pull them out. Surround yourself with people who nurture your vision, who remind you of your strength when you falter. Try this. This week, share your dream with one person you trust. Ask for their support, not their approval. Then, take one tangible step toward it and share your progress in the comments. What's your dream, and what's one step you're taking to make it real? Let's cheer each other on. As we move forward, let's talk about something even deeper. Your identity, the unique essence that no one has the right to reshape. You are a one-of-a-kind masterpiece, a singular blend of passions, quirks, and experiences that no one else can replicate. Your laugh, your dreams, the way you see the world, it's all uniquely yours. But in a world that loves conformity, there will be people who try to mold you, to sand down your edges to fit their vision of who you should be. They'll ask you to change, to soften, to shrink, all in the name of fitting in. On ZENLIGHT 8, we're here to remind you that your identity is not up for negotiation. It's your greatest gift, and protecting it is your greatest responsibility. Stay with me, because we're going to explore how to stand tall in your truth, using Stoic wisdom and practical steps to live unapologetically you. I remember a time when I tried to fit in. In my early 20s, I joined a social group where everyone seemed polished, put together, always saying the right things. I loved my loud laugh and quirky humor, but I noticed they'd raise eyebrows or go quiet when I let it shine. So I toned it down. I spoke softer, laughed less, tried to blend in. But every time I did, I felt a little less like me. I was betraying myself to win their approval, and it was a hollow victory. Epictetus said, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." That hit me hard. I realized that by dimming my light, I wasn't just losing my joy, I was losing my purpose. Your identity is your North Star, guiding you through life's chaos. It's the way you love fiercely, the way you chase your passions, the way you stand up for what you believe in. But there will always be people who see your uniqueness as a threat, who want you to conform to make them feel comfortable. Maybe it's a boss who wants you to be more professional, a partner who asks you to be less intense, or even a friend who subtly mocks your dreams. These requests might seem small, but they add up, chipping away at who you are until you're living a life that feels like someone else's. I knew a woman named Sarah who loved painting vibrant abstract art. Her family told her it was weird, that she should stick to realistic portraits to sell more. She tried, but every realistic painting felt like a lie. It wasn't until she embraced her bold, colorful style, despite the criticism, that she found her true calling. Today, her work hangs in galleries, a testament to staying true to herself. The Stoics teach us that our worth comes from within, not from others' opinions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." When you surrender your identity, you're not just disappointing others, you're betraying yourself. So how do you protect who you are? First, embrace your uniqueness. Write down 3 things you love about yourself. Maybe it's your sense of humor, your curiosity, your resilience. Celebrate them. Second, set boundaries with those who try to change you. If someone criticizes your essence, say, "I appreciate your perspective, but this is who I am." Third, find your tribe. People who love you for you. I found this in a writing group where my quirky stories were met with cheers, not judgment. Those connections reminded me that I didn't need to change to be enough. In today's world, where social media and societal norms push us to fit in, embracing your identity is a radical act of courage. Think of yourself as a tree with roots deep in your truth. The winds of others' expectations may blow, but you don't have to bend. Try this. This week, do one thing that feels authentically you, whether it's wearing that bold outfit or sharing an idea you've held back. Share it in the comments. What's one way you're embracing your true self? Let's inspire each other to shine. As we move forward, let's explore the relationships that shape your life and how to choose connections that lift you up, not weigh you down. We are wired for connection, drawn to others by a deep primal need for love, understanding, and belonging. But not all connections are created equal. Some are deep, soul-nourishing bonds that lift you higher. Others are shallow, transactional, draining your spirit while offering little in return. On ZENLIGHT 8, we're diving into the art of building relationships that matter, using Stoic wisdom to guide us toward connections that transform us, not diminish us. Stay with me, because we're going to learn how to spot superficial relationships, let them go, and cultivate bonds that make life worth living. I used to think that more friends meant a richer life. In my 20s, I filled my calendar with coffee dates, group outings, and late-night chats, chasing the idea of belonging. But I noticed something. Some of those connections left me feeling empty. There was a friend who'd only call when she needed a favor, a coworker who'd gossip but never share anything real, a group that felt more like a status contest than a community. I was surrounded by people, but I felt alone. Then I read Seneca, who said, "He who is a friend to all is a friend to none." That hit me like a lightning bolt. I realized I was pouring my energy into relationships that didn't nourish me. That didn't see me for who I was. Superficial relationships are like fast food, convenient, momentarily satisfying, but ultimately empty. They're the people who keep things surface level, who shy away from vulnerability, who take without giving back. They might be fun for a night out, but when you're struggling, they're nowhere to be found. I had a colleague who'd always invite me to happy hours, but when I shared my dream of starting a podcast, he laughed it off, saying, "Good luck with that." That moment showed me he wasn't in my corner. He was just filling space. True relationships are different. They're built on mutual respect, honesty, and a willingness to show up, even when it's messy. They're the friends who celebrate your wins, listen to your fears, and challenge you to grow. I found this in a mentor who didn't just give advice. She asked questions that made me dig deeper, that helped me see my own strength. Those conversations didn't just fill my time, they filled my soul. The Stoics remind us to be intentional about who we let into our lives. Epictetus said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." In a world of fleeting connections, think Instagram followers or work acquaintances who only reach out when they need something, choosing real relationships is an act of courage. So how do you do it? First, know your worth. You deserve people who see you, not just what you can offer. Write down what you want in a relationship. Maybe it's trust, mutual growth, or laughter. Second, let go of the takers. It's not easy, but fading out of relationships that drain you creates space for those that uplift you. I did this by politely declining invites from that happy hour colleague, and soon I had more time for people who truly mattered. Third, invest in depth. Ask big questions, share your dreams, be vulnerable. I started doing this with a friend, over coffee, asking, "What's something you're afraid to admit?" That one question led to a conversation that changed our friendship forever. In today's world, where we're connected to thousands online but often feel isolated, building real relationships is a lifeline. Imagine your life as a garden. Every relationship is a plant. Some are weeds, taking up space. Others are flowers, adding beauty. tend to the flowers. Try this. This week, reach out to one person who makes you feel seen. Tell them why they matter to you. Then, share in the comments. Who's in your tribe, and how do they lift you up? Let's build a community of real connection. As we wrap up, let's bring it all together with a final reflection on living a life of purpose and strength. Here we are, at the end of this journey through 6 powerful truths, each one a stepping stone toward a life of purpose, strength, and clarity. On ZENLIGHT, we've explored how to guard your energy like a sacred fire, stand firm in your principles, protect yourself from manipulation, defend your dreams, embrace your unique identity, and build relationships that uplift your soul. These aren't just ideas, they're tools, rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and the fire of self-improvement, designed to help you navigate a world that often tries to pull you off course. Life today is a whirlwind. Between work deadlines, social media noise, and the constant pressure to be everything to everyone, it's easy to lose yourself. But here's the truth. You are enough. Your energy, your values, your dreams, your identity, they're yours to protect, to nurture, to celebrate. The Stoics taught us that true freedom comes from within, from choosing to live deliberately, to focus on what we control, and to let go of what we don't. Every time you say no to a drain on your energy, every time you stand by your principles, every time you choose yourself, you're building a life that's not just lived, but truly alive. So here's my challenge to you. This week, pick one of these truths and act on it. Maybe it's setting a boundary with someone who takes too much, or taking a small step toward your dream. Whatever it is, do it with intention, with courage, with the knowledge that you're worth it. Then, come back to ZENLIGHT and share your story in the comments. What did you do, and how did it feel? Your story might just inspire someone else to take their first step. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and join our community. We're here every week, diving deep into the art of living well, with practical tools and stories to light your path. Until next time, keep your flame burning bright and never settle for less than the life you were meant to live.